So, let's deal with the concept of the alpha male. Let me tell you why I want to deal with this. I had a woman hit me up on Facebook the other day, and she said that it was funny. She was like, "Well, I don't care how many kids you got." She said, "I don't care how many kids you got. I'm trying to fuck with you. I'm trying to get to know you, right?" And anytime I see a message, anything like this, women trying to talk to me, like, I'm always skeptical, because I be thinking motherfuckers just be out here trying to set a nigga up, or, you know, second show, like, screenshot me, like, look, he tried to holler at me, look at him. Like, I don't really be trusting that shit anyway, you know what I'm saying? This shit be, you know, I'm a real skeptic about the way motherfuckers approach it. It's sad, but that's how the fuck I gotta be, because motherfuckers be out here wilding and shit, right? So I asked her, my question, and this is usually my question, is, well, why? Why you want to fuck with me? Her answer is because you are alpha male. And my question to her was, well, what constitutes an alpha male? And she said, you seem masculine and like a leader. Here's what I want to say to women out here that are having this conversation. The conversation where the top thing that you want in life is an alpha male. We understand this terminology was used with animals first. It was actually the first, the way this terminology was used was amongst animals. And I want to say it was amongst wolves, literally wolves. But when we're dealing with this terminology, and I'm listening to people have these conversations about alpha males and them being leaders, and then in real life something changes. Whereas when you have women that are requesting leaders, but also at the same time saying that they don't want to be led. They don't trust men to lead them. This is what creates the conundrum that we see playing out typically on these relationship shows on social media, when you see the conversations being had and blah, 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 right? It creates a conundrum, because as quick as you will want to ask for a leader, a man is going to be just as quick to require a woman to be open to being led. Not based on your past experience. I don't want to hear a story about your past experience to justify why you can't be led, why you don't want to be led, and why you don't trust being led. Sounds like you shouldn't be fucking with men at all. That's what it sounds like to me a lot of times when I hear these conversations, and I have these conversations with women. Well, it sounds like you need to be on the bench. Sit back, watching, observing, taking notes. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be involved with men. You shouldn't be asking for an alpha male, requiring that men be alpha males, but you yourself are a self-proclaimed alpha female. Independent, take care of yourself, whatever the fuck was on your list, right? The capacity to be led is not a trait that I hear women shine up when they're talking about what they want out of a man, and then what they have to offer themselves. The capacity to be led, I don't hear about it. Women want alpha dudes because they can fight. They protectors, cool, I get that. These men provide and protect. But when we're talking about leadership, do you have the capacity to be led? Is that something that you're open to? Not a sum of all your failed relationships or any of that type of shit. Do you have the capacity to be led? Very important question. Now again, I don't hear this question much. I don't hear women talking about their capacity to be led. I hear them talking about homemaking, cooking, cleaning, nurturing a man, giving him a shoulder to cry on, and all this old type of stuff. And if you're a man in my position who don't need any of this type of stuff, then you kind of looking at the situation like, well, I didn't ask for all that. You see, I didn't ask for any of that. I don't require any of that. And that ends up really being a big problem for women when you don't require the carbon copy things that men claim that they require. I don't need somebody to cry to, put my problems on, or download my issues to, and I don't need all that. She ain't got to be no damn shelf. She ain't got to be the Molly maid. I don't need any of that. But what I find interesting is that women will like a guy that's perceived to be a leader, like this woman perceived me to be one, or requesting guys that are leaders, alpha males, so-called, but the capacity to be led isn't mentioned. You cannot request an alpha male, ladies. You can't request one and don't have the capacity to be led. Alpha makes it outside the bedroom. Let me explain. What I notice a lot of times is that when women are requesting these alpha males and these leaders, they're wanting this to be confined to the bedroom. They're wanting this to be confined to the bedroom. The sexual aspect of the relationship. Well, I want me an alpha male in the bedroom. Well, an alpha male isn't just going to be an alpha male in the bedroom. You see. A lot of y'all, don't factor this in. Don't factor in the fact that you're not going to be able to have these big blow up explosions, arguments where you yelling at a motherfucker or going in on them, and an alpha male just sit there and take that over time. Most alpha males understand, well, I may have to check this motherfucker a couple times, but over time, years and years and years, no. An alpha male isn't going to do that with you. He's not going to, ladies. The emotional outbursts you have, he's not going to entertain that. He don't have the time to entertain that. Because one thing about alpha male, typically, they got other opportunities in other areas. They got choices. They're giving you the time to, be the woman that you have claimed that you are, but they got options, right? So use your time wisely. A lot of women will get with alpha males and don't use their time wisely. So when I see women claiming that they want alpha males, claiming that they want these leader types, not dealing with the capacity to be led on their end, nor are they dealing with the fact that alpha males are not going to cater to your emotional swings, your outbursts. They're not going to cater to that stuff. They're just not. You're not going to get to run the show. And no amount of pouting or having an attitude is going to change that. So when I'm seeing women request alpha males, it seems to be contradictory to what women be wanting in a man. They want a man to be an alpha in certain areas, but they don't want him to be an alpha checking their bullshit behaviors, their bullshit choices and things like that. They don't want an alpha there. They don't care to have an alpha in those areas. They want you to be an alpha outside of them. When it comes to checking their behaviors, they don't want you to be no alpha. Matter of fact, they may fuck around and deem you some type of asshole or cold-hearted or insensitive. if you're not willing to ride their emotional roller coaster. So I would urge women to be careful what you're asking for. And make sure that you are really asking for or putting a request out for what you really want. Because y'all asking for alpha males. Alpha males is not going to give you the time to work your shit through like that. Like it's just not going to, it's not going to work like that. Your capacity to be led has to be something you put on your list of things that you have that other women don't have. It has to be put on your list. If you are with a man and you deem him not leadership material, and this is why you disrespect him, this is why you give him your ass to kiss, this is why you have an attitude with him all the time, then I always ask the question as to what are you still doing dealing with this man who you don't respect as a leader? Women have a hard time with this question. Because one thing about women, and again, this is only because I'm talking about women. This is not specifically synonymous with women. But one thing about women is women will complain. Complain and stay. They'll do that shit. Complain and stay. He ain't no leader. He weak. Whatever the fuck. He don't do this. He don't do that. But you still there. You still stay in the situation complaining every day, all day. Now you looking like a fucking nag, and don't no man want to deal with that, alpha or otherwise. Now beta males, they can take it longer. Beta males can take it longer. Alpha males they just not gonna do it with you. But that's what you said you wanted. But now you don't have time to be a fucking nag. What are you gonna do? What you gonna do with all your free time now? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Nobody has time to hear all this bullshit. Creating problems. Being over dramatic, theatric, over the smallest, silliest shit. An alpha male is not going to have time for that. He's going to tell you to sit the fuck down somewhere, or you run the risk of losing him. Now, a lot of women don't care. Y'all don't give a fuck. You'll claim that he wasn't an alpha because he didn't stay. You'll make that claim, of course, to vindicate yourself and your fuckery and toxicity. You'll vindicate yourself because you'll tell yourself, oh, he couldn't stick with me. Oh, we didn't work out because he was too weak. No, it wasn't his weakness that made you not be able to work it out with him. It was the fact that he was strong. I know y'all been getting away with the propaganda machine that is running, that you saying that he couldn't deal with you, he couldn't handle you. He could have. He could have suffered. He could have easily suffered through your fuckery. But a trait of alpha males is to choose their peace over your fuckery. Now again, you can request alphas, but understand this is on the list as well. When you asking for this man, this is on the list. He is not going to sit around and deal with you and your fucked up ass attitude, and that's what's gonna make him strong. That's what's gonna make him feel strong. No, an alpha male gonna feel like a weak bitch. He'll start feeling like that, and through him being starting to feel like that, he'll begin to resent you. That's what'll happen. That'll make you very quickly replaceable. I mean, she fine and all, thick as hell, but she get on my goddamn nerves. An alpha male will make that distinction. She got a degree, she got a job. He don't give a fuck about that. Not a real alpha male. That ain't gonna make him stick around. Because you have education, because you at a good job, like that ain't, he not gonna give a fuck about that. You can flex those things with your contemporaries up at the job. You can do it then. But by the time you get home with him, he don't give a fuck about all of that. So I want y'all women to ask yourself the question, is an alpha male what you really want? Is that what you really want? Because you're not going to have all the time in the world to figure it out once you get one. Huh? I'll say it again. You're not going to have all the time in the world to figure it out once you get you one. At that point, at that moment, your time's ticking. Because he's giving you the opportunity. But he's not going to have the time to battle you for who's supposed to be the leader. He's not going to have time to prove to you. You're going to have to give up that power. You're going to have that vulnerability to give up that power. And I'm not saying it's going to work 100% of the time. There are no guarantees out here. And I think a lot of us out here are looking for guarantees. Looking for formulas and shit. Ain't no formulas to this shit. And that's what's wrong with a lot of you motherfuckers out here. If you're going to ask me, there is no formulas to this shit. There isn't. But you as a woman is going to have to open yourself up to be vulnerable. To give that power that you wield so proudly up. Most of our women, that is their entire persona. I'm an independent woman. I got my own money. I got an education. I don't got to rely on a man for shit. That's their persona. That's what they hang their wigs on. You know how with men, people say, people hang their hats on it. Well, a lot of women hang their wigs on that. I'm independent, I got a job, and I don't need a nigga for shit. Cool. At the point that you make the statement that you don't need a nigga for shit, maybe you would want to need him for sex or whatever like that. You may, open yourself up to be honest and say, well, I do need some dick though, A lot of women won't even say that. They'll just say they don't need a man for shit, right? They won't even be honest about they want that. They want to get that dick from the back. They don't want to deal with that. Like, I still want that dick though, but I don't need him for nothing else, Okay, cool. Then you shouldn't at the same time be requesting an alpha male, because to an alpha male, none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. Those are great traits. You have an education. You have a good job. You don't rely on men for financial reasons. You take care of yourself. Those are great things. An alpha male will acknowledge those things, but that ain't gonna be all that you need to do to obtain one, to keep one. No one has time to battle for who is in control. During the dating or the what we call talking phase, you need to be realizing that then. Either this man got what it takes for him to be given the throne, or he don't. Like, I don't understand how y'all be in full relationships with men who y'all say don't. You should have been vetting this in the dating stage. Y'all might have been fucking or whatever. I ain't gonna tell you who the fuck, when the fuck, how fast the fuck. I'm not gonna tell you none of that shit. What I am gonna say, before you make a relationship official, this needs to be, understood when you get out here. Before you are accepting a relationship invitation from him, or opening one up to him where you tell him, well, nigga, we've been talking for this long and we need to be doing something else. Well, you need to be understanding that, well, what about your capacity to be led? Are you willing to give up the power? Has this man proved himself? Because a lot of y'all will give up, give yourself to men that you'll say he hasn't proved himself, but you're in a relationship with him. You should have saw that when y'all was talking, dating, watching TV, eating food, fucking randomly whenever. You should have been establishing that then. How did you get into a whole relationship with a man who doesn't have what it takes? That's what dating and talking is for. Now, of course, it's lost its purpose in this, the way we're creating things out here. A lot of these things lose their purpose, but that's what this part is for. before you make somebody your official boyfriend or girlfriend, and damn well before you marry them, you understand all this stuff. You see all this stuff. Whether he got what it takes to be a leader, and you wanting an alpha male, whether you have what it takes to be led, the capacity to be led. The capacity to be understanding, do what the fuck you supposed to do, and not be sitting around wanting to argue and bicker over all types of stupid shit, because the alpha male ain't going for that, ladies. He's not. He don't have time for it. He's not trying to carve out time for it. He gonna give you some time. He gonna give you some time to get it together, but you're not gonna have, you know, these years and years and years to get yourself together while he's sitting around waiting on you. He's not gonna do that. He just not. And that doesn't make him less of a man, because he's not gonna do that. You sit up here and push this relationship. Where are we going? Where are we headed? You know, how y'all get forcing relationships, and you ain't even ready. You thought because you had a job and education, that was you was relationship ready material. I cook sometimes, I clean up sometimes and shit, so hell, I'm good. I got this is everything I got right here. Your capacity to be led needs to be kept in mind. How you deal with problems. Are you the type that goes from 0 to 100 for no reason? I mean, you know you better than me, right? I'm asking. Are you that type? Do you notice that you do that for every little thing? You hooting and hollering and getting on somebody's nerves, or if you don't get your way, you nagging and extra. And have you checked yourself? Because if you're asking for an alpha male, he will not be dealing with all of that shit with you. He won't be. He will give you the chance to correct the bullshit, but he's not going to continue to deal with that. And as you tell yourself that it's his fault that the relationship ended, because all women do this, it's somebody else, it's the man's fault, everything that went wrong was him, and he just won't ride and all this shit, you know. Y'all gonna have to look at what you asking for and understand when you find it, the clock is ticking. He has options. Understand that. And that's the question that men should be asking when women are saying they want an alpha male. What about your capacity to be led? Do you have that capacity or not? Simple. Easy. I don't hear women putting this on their list. And I'm thinking that that should change. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to have realistic, if women going to be putting out here what they want and stuff like that, talk about what they bring to the table. I hear nurturing a lot. That's great. If we're talking about children, for a man, men are pretty plain. And if a man is deemed, if you deeming a man a leader, you want an alpha male, he's going to be pretty plain. He'll tell you what he wants you to do. You getting on my nerves right here. In this situation, this was extra. I'm showing you exactly what you're doing. I don't need you to be nurturing. I need you to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Aggie. It's getting on my fucking nerves. I just need you to stop. I don't need you to be, you know, you can nurture kids. I'm a grown man. I don't need you to nurture me. I don't need that. I need you to stop. You see? So women, do y'all really want alpha males? Or do y'all just want somebody that's good in the bedroom? That takes control and takes charge sexually? Because a lot of times y'all will get alpha males. Men who have the capability to lead. But you don't have the capability or the capacity to be led. You don't have that. And on top of that, you want to be aggy as hell. You want to argue and shit all the time. And an alpha male's not going to put up with that. You asked for him. He came. and you ran him off. You see? You sent for him, he came, and you proceeded to run him off because you didn't know what it took to keep one. What y'all are talking about is wanting one, but you're not dealing with what it takes to keep one. And I think that conversation needs to be had. Seriously. All right? Y'all tell me if I'm tripping or not. Tell me what y'all are hearing out here in the world as these conversations about alpha males and leaders are being had. Tell me if I'm tripping or not. I don't know if this will be hard for women to hear, but, you know, I ain't trying to be fucked up. It is what it is. This is what I'm seeing out here, though. Y'all want alphas, but y'all not willing to do what is required to keep one. Y'all not. So let's have that conversation. Y'all leave the comments. Let me know what you think. This conversation is important as it pertains to relationships. This is what y'all always talking about. So it's important. So let's have the conversation in the comments. You know, let's do it. Y'all like, share, subscribe. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. Black first, second, and third. I'm out.